I guess with that,
Hey, my name is Ray Flores. I'm a proud and loyal member of the First and 10 Tailgate. You're listening to First and 10 with my man, the main man, Foz.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 35 of First and 10 with Foz. We get to do another aggravating show tonight, Maxwell.
nothing like it.
How we feeling tonight, buddy?
It's a tradition like no other.
3 games in the last month, double-digit leads in the fourth quarter with less than 3 minutes left, and losses.
Yeah.
Denver, the Lions, and now we have the Browns out of the situation, dude. How do you lose games where you're 99.7% favored to win, man?
When you're coached by Matt Eberflus, that's the only really logical answer.
We'll get into it, everyone. We'll get into it. Tonight we don't have any news from the past week. We'll get into the Bears-Browns breakdown, and then we'll get into the Bears-Cardinals preview for this Christmas episode tonight. And for our special guest, we have the 2022 first fan of the year for the Cardinals. Susan Haluzan will be on the show with us tonight, so looking forward to that. Booked her earlier this year. The big news going into this week, there hasn't been too many big news stories lately, was Yannick went out for the year, man, with a broken ankle in practice. So paid like $1.5 million for 3 sacks this year. I mean, is that the way we look at it? Or
yeah, I guess. I mean, he did start playing well lately. Once Sweat got here, he seemed to at least free up a little bit more, and less attention was paid to him because he was the sack guy on the line then, if you could even call such a thing at that point. But it sucks for him. I mean, he looked like he was coming on.
He was coming around for sure, man. Who knows if he would have been a difference maker in Sunday's game or not? I don't
know. Well, I know we're going to get into it, but the defense played pretty good for 57 minutes, so.
That seems to be a trend.
Yeah.
So the Bears lost 20-17, and it should have been, in my opinion, a 23-20 win based upon 2 separate situations.
Yeah.
A defensive battle where Bears coaching decisions really just sunk them. So
yeah.
Let's start with the offense, man. Mr. Fields, I was not happy with his performance whatsoever.
It wasn't good.
19 for 40, 166 yards, 30 rushing, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions that probably should have been 4, and 2 fumbles that were thankfully recovered.
Yeah.
I mean,
the interceptions, the one was definitely not an interception to end the first half. Like, I think they've actually come back and corrected that now. The other one was, I mean, my God, DJ Moore kicked it, or Darnell Mooney kicked it. So I'm not going to put the interceptions on it, but he did not play well. And, you'll say, okay, the Browns are a great defense, and they rush really well. And they do. And Myles Garrett is a freak. I mean, it's ridiculous. But that's the NFL. And you're going to have pass rushing every game. You're never going to have a clean pocket 60 minutes. So it's just like with Fields, it's the same thing every week. You see the tantalizing talent, but then you see the mundane. He just can't do it. And it's not all on him, but you've got to start looking at it and say some of it is definitely on him, and some of it is him.
I think the thing that really grinds my gears with the situation is how he acts on the field when a situation happens. Dude, it's okay, we know you're not happy, dude, but you are the leader of the offense. You have the rest of the team who's discouraged out there. You can't be Mr. Shit Attitude, rolling your eyes, throwing your facial looks, acting like a baby, tearing up, dude. Like, dude, grow the fuck up, man. You're in the NFL. You're the leader of a football team, and you need to, after you fuck up or someone else fucks up, you need to go out there and pump those guys up, and you need to be the motivator to get back on track. Like, you don't need to be Captain Debbie Downer on the fields when you're supposed to be leading the squad, man. So, like, I guess his reactions and how he's doing things is really kind of getting under my skin, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
run.
I don't agree, but that's fine. Hey, man, you're a fan. You're entitled to your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, dude.
I mean, to me, Benjamin Franklin's a good motivator. But
every time he fucks up, the camera's right on him, dude, and it's like Mr. Hissy Fit. It's like, come on, man. Like,
but if he ball off for 350 yards in 2 of those, we wouldn't care. So I mean, I'm not good. That's such a. It's like back to the Jay Cutler thing. Everyone got on him because on the sideline he looked like he was pissy. And
yeah,
if that's just who he is, that's who he is. I don't care. I want him to play good. I don't care if he's the biggest prick on the face of the earth.
I strongly believe those things, in my opinion, like, are contagious, and like, it's like cancer to the rest of the team. Like, you're gonna act shitty, everyone else is gonna act shitty. Everyone's looking at you, dude. Like, you're the leader. Like, if you have a bad manager and your manager comes in pissed off and is pissy with the rest of the group and having a bad day, guess what? Now you're going to have a bad day. You know, like, shit trickles downhill, man. So, like,
well,
I'd like to see a little bit more encouragement out of him.
I'll tell you what I would like to see while we're talking about Fields and getting excited. I would like to see Matty Eberflus freak out every time he gets a late hit. How about that instead?
Yeah.
That's a little more worrying to me, that he just kind of stands there and doesn't say shit about this fucker. I mean, another egregious late hit on Fields.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that was a hospital hit.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see Matty Eberflus just lose his fucking mind one time.
Dude, not just Matt Eberflus, but like, with the trend that's been happening every game, why not compile these videos and go to the NFL?
I think they do. Actually,
and the referees and say, "What the fuck are you? What is going on here?"
I do think the Bears do send video to the NFL, and it's nonstop. And you could almost see it, like, after that one hit. I forget what, I think it was towards the end of the second quarter. Where, like, the referee almost, like, mouthed at him, like, well, he didn't hit you in the head, but, like, he hit you, like, 10 minutes after the play ended. It was like something ridiculous like that.
But
so
if it was Patrick Mahomes or Dak Prescott, or
back in the day, Tom Brady, like, if you even got near the prick, like, there'd be flags coming from everywhere.
You breathe too heavy on him. I mean,
so I'm more upset about that. This seems to happen every week. A ridiculous, like, leading helmet hit on Fields when he's going down, or a ridiculous late hit, and it's like, what is this poor guy? Just because he's physical, this poor guy's taking a beating for ridiculously no reason.
Yeah, I mean, if you're completely out of the pocket, running down the field and not sliding or something,
different
like
story.
that,
when you're a free runner, that's a different story. But when you're literally on the ground or out of bounds by about 8 steps, I mean, it's getting to the point of ridiculousness. That's not excusing Fields not playing good. But
I fully agree, man. I think they definitely need to do some sort of investigation on it. And I mean, but yeah, Eberflus, dude, like, that's his leader. That's the guy who should be.
This is what I'm saying. So, you said about leadership with Fields. Fields is just the quarterback. He's not the guy leading the whole team.
Sure.
Eberflus, I don't even know if you've heard his post-game press conferences. I mean, it's like a wet blanket. Like, it's like, read the room. Like this past week, again, we're talking about, like, getting the guys motivated. It's like, you just lost the playoffs. You're not going to make the playoffs now. You're done. You can sell me the 0.0.
Scientifically, they still can make the playoffs.
If you saw that stat this past Sunday, if they won this past Sunday, what had to happen for them to make it? It was like you had to squint and turn it upside down. Now you're done. This is done. The season's over. You're not making the playoffs. I don't want to hear about his demeanor and the way he talks is so fucking aggravating.
Yeah, dude. I mean, he doesn't have the qualities of a leader. I mean,
no.
Ryan Poles came out and said, like, earlier on this year how he admired him as a leader, dude. No. He must be seeing something we're not seeing, because sidelines, press conference, dude, he sounds like a bumbling buffoon who's trying to come up with words and concepts and phrases to try and be positive. And he never wants to address any of the reality of the negative situation.
Never addresses reality.
No. But I totally agree, man. I mean, Fields more leadership, Eberflus more leadership. I mean, all around, dude, the Bears are lacking leadership and motivation right now, and I think everyone out there will agree with that. Bad plays happen, and you see them just get down, dude, and they barely struggle to get back up, dude. And you can't be like that, man. It's the football. There's down.
When you're done with coaching and plays too, maybe that factors in. When Luke Getsy's still calling the same offensive plays, time in and time out.
Frustration's at all-time high. No.
So you've probably had enough of that too, of getting your dick beat in every week and, like, pissing games away. Like, I don't know if you heard I know we're going to get into the defense and everything, but like if you heard some of the comments from players, like
Yeah.
they put it squarely on the coaching. Like there
Yeah.
wasn't no veiled criticism. They were saying, I don't know, these were the ways the coach just called them.
Yeah.
So like that 3rd and 15 play, I know we're gonna get into that too. I mean, it was just ridiculous. It was completely ridiculous.
So I mean, first quarter there was absolutely no offense. I mean, there was no run game, there was no pass game. DJ Moore had 50 yards. Roshan Johnson had like 25 yards. Those were like our lead rushers for the game. But we should have had a touchdown in the first quarter, my friend.
Fields on the roll, sets up, throwing deep. He's got a man out there, and it is juggled and dropped by Robert Tonyan. Oh, Tonyan can't believe it. Sione Takitaki was trailing in coverage, and Tonyan just dropped it.
Dude, I just want to dry heave. I've watched it. I've like tortured myself this last week watching some of these plays, dude. It's like, why am I watching this tape over? Am I trying to depress myself? But dude, that was an all-day touchdown. And like, I literally saw people online like trying to defend Tonyan. Like, he doesn't play with Fields in the regular practice squad, and he's not used to catching passes from him. Like, are we on Venus? Are we in Jupiter right now?
That's an NFL player who's played for 10 years who got a ball feathered into both of his hands.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck who's throwing it.
Me make millions. Me catch a ball. That's your job.
Yeah, he's a veteran.
Yeah.
I don't care who's throwing to him.
Yeah. You had Aaron Rodgers throwing to you before.
They brought back the corpse of Caleb Haney. The ball landed in his hands. He should have caught it. I mean,
yeah, so that was the frustration that started in the first quarter. So right there, we should have been up 7-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's bad.
We get into the second quarter then. Let's take a look here. No, we'll go about it a different way. So, yeah, I guess leading into the second quarter, we get into the red zone then finally. And 10, 12 plays at the red line.
Oh, after the interception, they got them to the 1 yard line, and then all those too many men in the field penalties. I've never seen a sequence quite like that from first and goal at the 1.
We should not have had that touchdown. That scramble from Fields. I mean, that's the shit that like where you say I like Fields.
But this is the Fields thing.
Yeah.
This is the constant Fields thing. You see a ridiculous athletic play that maybe him and Lamar Jackson could do. Like that's maybe it. Maybe Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And you sell yourself on, who else could do that? Like he's the guy. But then you'll see missed passes or standing in the pocket too long again. He took a couple sacks in this game. They were all on him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the constant wave with this dude. Like it's just I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do.
Yeah, and we're after the game. We're going to talk about that exactly. What do we do at this point? Let's get into some comments. We got some comments blowing up tonight. Thanks, everyone. We always have Facebook users always out there.
That's great. The best. It's the player to be named later.
User is there.
It's the player to be named later in MLB trades.
So for our repeat watchers, I tell everyone this all the time. I post on my page. You have to head over to StreamYard.com/Facebook and actually give Facebook allowance to see your picture and your profile picture. Otherwise, when you go to comment or whatnot, we don't see your picture, we don't see your name.
Or at the very least, leave your signature after your comment if you don't want the man all in your business.
Or just put your name in your comment.
Yeah, that's fine too.
Well, that's a positive thing, Facebook user. They had the game and gave up 2 catches for a late touchdown. Who are these clowns? I think they're talking about us. Maybe we're the clowns.
Oh, maybe.
Well, fuck you very much, John. Have
That's
a nice tonight, bud. Z. Smith hit his arm. Excuses. It's just always something.
But
dude.
like,
it's always
like
something.
with Fields, it's such a polarizing issue that you're always going to find so many different takes on it because there's no real. It isn't like Mitch, where like you watch that now and you knew that dude was not the dude ever. I mean, that dude can't throw a 20-yard pass without it almost being intercepted by 5 different players in the opposite team. Like,
and we saw that 2 weeks ago. For
what everyone is concerned about is like the old Greg Maddux thing. You know, he's going to go somewhere else and be great. Like that's what everyone's concerned about.
Yeah, I like my metaphors. Thank you very much, guys. You guys are the best. His press conferences are ridiculous. Going back to Eberflus here.
Wet towels,
dude. Just dancing around fires he doesn't want to touch, my friend. Don't do that. Don't put your dick in my helmet, please. We're going to bring up the Mooney. Oh, we're going to bring up the Mooney, my friend. Don't worry. We're getting there. Baby steps. We have a lot of horribleness leading up to the Mooney, so Bears suck. I wish I could say they don't, dude. I wish I could say that any frustrated fan out there needs to keep their head up and be positive. But
it's funny how it went from, they won 2 in a row there and we're back on the playoff train to one bad loss. It just sinks the whole – everything you thought that was positive is now completely negative.
Who do you draft if you keep Fields or you trade him? We'll get into that later on in the show, guys. Bear down. Move the pocket. We've been saying it all season long. Totally agree. Who's to blame for the season? Coaches or lack of talent? Dude, I think 100% the coaches, man.
No, not 100. No way.
I think 100% the coach. I think the talent is there, man. I think there's been a lot of great talent on the team, mismanaged from day one. You go back to the beginning of the year with a different management squad, and you allow Fields to play his game, and you involve Cole Kmet early on, and you're passing to DJ Moore like they've started doing later on in these games, what they weren't doing before. You let Fields roll out of the pocket. I mean, a lot of different games, my friend, a lot of different games.
Well, Montez Sweat wasn't there at the beginning of the year, and I'm not convinced that Fields is the dude. So I don't know if we bring in, let's say, Jim Harbaugh, or name the best offensive coach that you can get. I'm still personally not convinced Fields is the dude even with him. I'm not. And you still have a terrible center. And okay, we have a better coach. Name it, Pete Carroll, Mike Tomlin. Yeah, we probably would have won 2 of those games and be right in the playoff hunt right now. Yeah. But I mean, I can't say 100% on the coaches. I mean, Eberflus is responsible for the defense picking up along with Sweat.
We had a whole game of screen passes out of one game. I mean,
Luke Etsy's a lot to do with it. I mean, if anyone's getting fired, it's him. There's no doubt about that. But
dude, if you go back and really look at the games that we lost and those double-digit losses in the fourth quarter, and even that game versus the Vikings, the first one where we lost 12-10, dude, we should technically be a 10-win team right now, man. I mean, those are games that we should not have lost whatsoever. I mean, 99% favor technically based upon statistics.
The three games you're talking about, yeah, but like the Detroit game and this last Cleveland game and the Denver game, definitely I agree with you. But like some of those other games like you're talking about, most NFL games are one-possession games, the final outcome, especially divisional games. So the Vikings opposite of that could be, but if we had caught this pass, we would have won by 9 instead of 2. So I agree with you with those 3. And I think those 3 games specifically you're talking about are on coaching. And we can't figure out a way to play for 4 quarters. That is on coaching.
Yeah.
And terrible coaching schemes. That 3rd and 15 play, we have to get into it because it was just unbelievable what they did with that.
Yeah.
To let them get that game-winning field goal.
Yeah, dude, no doubt. Should have never happened. It just should have never happened. I mean, that's been like the key themes of all those 3 games we lost. Defense plays phenomenal the entire game, and then something happens that should not have happened.
I agree with you in those games. It is on the coaching.
All right. So much badness to go through. I don't want to talk about any of it. Oh, man. So the Browns come back and tie it at the end of the second quarter. The Bears get the ball right before halftime. And the first controversy starts, which is not going for the field goal at the end of the halftime. I mean, I'll say my piece on it. Maxwell, you can give your opinion. Anyone out there comment, I'm sure everyone has opinions on it. So technically, just to be down to earth, apparently during warm-ups, they saw him kick in. He only got it halfway through the end zone. So when it came down to game time decision, they thought it was a better odds of Fields hitting a Hail Mary pass than kicking a field goal. And personally, dude, I strongly disagree with that. Whenever you're in an opportunity to possibly kick a field goal against the number 1 defense in the NFL on the road, whenever you're in a scenario, especially when you don't have that San Fran offense out there to back your shit up, you don't take those risks and you go for the highest percentage possible of scoring 1 point, 2 point, 3 points. Doesn't fucking matter. And dude, I thought all day long, even if they missed that field goal, I rather would have saw the field goal attempt than the Hail Mary pass. That, of course, ended in an interception right at halftime.
I've come around on it. I do agree with what they tried to do. I listened to a lot of stuff about that. I heard Patrick Manley, who was the former long snapper the Bears, talking about today. A coach will go to the kicker and say, "What is your limit?" And he said Cairo Santos' limit is 50. That's it. And they said they were going into a 20-mile-an-hour wind with blowing rain. He said the odds of them making that field goal were -2%. So he said in his mind, throwing the Hail Mary.
Bears offense throwing a Hail Mary, I would put that less than 2.
Basically, you were at 0% either way you look at it.
Sure.
So I think what his point was, the Browns have the number 1 blocking special teams in the NFL, and you've got to come a little harder to kick a field that long when you can't kick one that long.
Yeah.
Into rain, into wind, the possibility of it being blocked or a guy being in the end zone to catch it to bring it out.
Sure.
Basically, you weren't scoring. Period. So I'm not as mad about that one anymore as I was initially. When I stopped to think about it after being pissed off after what else happened the rest of the game, I kind of not going to fault him on that one. I get what you're saying.
It's like a movie where you see foreshadowing of the things that come. Like, it was just a foreshadowing of like, oh my God, they should have taken that kick. Oh my God, I know this is going to affect them at the end.
On TV2, we're watching like, what rain? Like, I guess it was really fucking bad there. So I'm going to give him a pass on that one.
So after that, we get the ball back at halftime, do nothing, but then Tremaine Edwards comes out and has a pick 6 and brings the Bears up 14-7, which was awesome, man. Then we follow that by another Santos field goal. We're up 17-7, bro. Life's good, sun's shining, everyone's happy, right?
That's the one I'm mad about. At the same time, if Darnell Mooney had just even attempted to make that block, Fields would have had the first down. You just work yourself into these lathers.
Yeah. So then to start the Mooney train, the end of the third quarter, with that 4th and 3 where we could have gone for a 40-yard field goal, decide to run it with Fields.
Which is the right move if you're going to go for it.
If you're going to go for it, which I don't think you should have gone for it.
This one I would have kicked the field goal.
And then Mooney just completely missed that block, dude.
Not missed it. He didn't try.
Yeah, and then Fields it was a Chase Claypool block back there.
Yeah.
Got tripped up and did not get the first down.
Mm-hmm.
Turnover and downs. Again, dude, what logical reason could you have at that point for saying, like, we got to go for this? Why?
I guess he's thinking.
I'm trying to get another perspective.
So on that way, you'd be going the opposite direction. So you're going to have more wind at your backs. It still would be a 57-yard field goal, which is past his supposed limit.
Yeah.
This one I probably would have attempted. If it was 4th and inches, well, the Bears don't like to do the tush-push thing for some reason, even though you've got Justin Fields, who's a freak back there. At the same time, Mooney's got to at least attempt to block on the goddamn guy. And then Fields with his ability, it's very – I said this has happened. It's very rare the first guy will actually be able to trip up Justin Fields.
Yeah.
But he got him so good because Fields is expecting Mooney to at least do something to block this guy. He's got that first down by 4 yards usually. So, yeah, I'd kick the field – obviously, we all would kick the field goal there now for sure. But that's got to – some of that blame goes on Darnell Mooney there too on that play.
That was the top height of my pissed offness in that game is when they didn't kick the field goal.
Yeah, on that one more so.
I mean, you just got to look at all the logical elements, dude. The weather, the best defense. Your offense is not a strong offense. Like, who are you to go for it in that situation? You're not the team that's going to turn around and get in that position again right away to score against the number 1. You take the points when you can.
No, I agree.
I just went against all basic,
especially at that point when the Bears defense is balling out. So, okay, you miss it, you're going to give it to them at half field.
Yeah.
But then they're going into the wind and the rain. Your defense had been at that point playing really well.
Yeah.
Flacco was throwing it to any bear he could find.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not just try it? Hell with it.
And then, of course, from there, we all knew what was going to happen. Browns come back at field goal. Flacco's 50-yard touchdown to Amari Cooper, which absolutely should have never happened, dude. I watched that play over and over, dude. That was a horrible, horrible zone call, dude. He was wide open. He was able to get free and just run it right in the end zone, dude. Horrible defensive play call. And then, of course, that field goal at the end to win the game, which would end up winning the game. So a 3rd and 15
very
call,
poetic.
Maxwell.
Yeah. If you watch that play, I don't know what the hell Eberflus was doing there. He dialed it up to where Justin Jones fell back into coverage. Yeah. Justin Jones, your 3-technique defensive tackle. All 325 pounds of Justin Jones is going to try to cover David Njoku, a monster of a tight end.
Yeah.
And then you rush, I think they rushed Terrell Edmonds instead of Jones. It just didn't make any sense. Edmonds is he's what you brought in here to be at linebacker, coverage linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
You outsmarted yourself at that point because I mean, didn't the Browns have 19 injuries to their offensive line? They were starting guys like Matt said, fresh off the couch.
Dude,
I mean,
fresh off the couch. They had defensive ends,
and you were getting home
tackles,
yeah.
Even their defense Nick Chubb's destroyed. The quarterback. Everyone's destroyed, dude.
3rd and 15, I'm dropping 8 if I have to.
Yeah.
Rush 3.
Yeah.
You're still probably going to get some kind of pressure,
Yeah.
and you've got 8 other guys back there. You play a prevent at that point. Just don't let them get the 15 yards. I don't care if they get 13. I don't care if they get 12. Don't let them get the 15 yards. It's just
Coaching.
so mad. Yeah, that was on coaching. And I know I got into like a fight with some guy on your page who's like talking about how it's like the defense's fault. No, it's not. They're the only reason you were in that game.
Yeah.
They call out this stupid play that allows them to get to 3rd and 15, then right into a field goal.
Yeah.
The hell with that guy and that goddamn call.
We're all not okay right now. We're still recovering.
It's over now. I'm getting all out now because now I don't care anymore. After this game, it's over with anyway. So.
And then, of course, we have the end of the game.
Fields, chased by Garrett, flushed, looking, sets up, throwing deep. Hail Mary, end zone, deflected, tipped, and intercepted. Almost caught, and then a deflection into the hands of DeAnthony Bell.
Just how, dude? How in the fuck are you sitting on the ground on your ass with the football on your chest in your numbers with both hands?
How about in your lap?
Yeah.
Like the old saying, the ball fell in your lap. The ball fell in his lap.
And then it rolls down his leg to his foot to where
And
he
he punts
magically kicks it.
He punted it at some guy.
Dude, that couldn't happen again in 20
no,
billion
it
times.
was
dude.
unbelievable.
I've watched that play a million times, dude, and I just scientifically don't even understand how it fucking happened. I still don't.
Well,
I'm never going.
Anyone who was ever still holding out hope that Darnell Mooney was your number wide receiver, not
Yeah.
just from that play. What has Darnell Mooney really done all year?
Well, dude, I mean, someone asked in the comments already, what about Mooney? Dude, Mooney, I'm done with Mooney now, dude.
Yeah, he's a number 3 receiver on a good team at best.
Yeah, maybe.
I said this all along. He's
Yeah.
a slot receiver. He's not a number 1 receiver. He never was.
Yeah. After that block, dude, that missed block and that, like, could some say he single-handedly lost us the game in those scenarios? Yes, but technically, no. There was a lot of other factors, but dude, he made that block and Fields got that first down, and he caught that ball, dude. We won that game.
On the flip side of the coin, to Darnell Mooney's defense, if you know he can't block anybody, why are you running runs to that side? Why are you having him be your lead blocker? But he couldn't block a housefly. I mean, listen, he's not a big guy. He's a speed guy.
And dude, like, he's made some unreal down the field catches. I mean,
And
we've talked about it in the prior weeks, dude.
I know that.
He's gone down the field. He's been a deep threat that can get down there.
Do you remember that Washington game last year when they Fields threw a nice slant to him to the right end zone to win the game, and he dropped it and it hit him right in the hands?
Yeah.
I saw a lot of those "what would you say you do here" memes with Darnell Mooney, and I got to kind of agree. What is it that you do here exactly?
How many of those situations do the Chicago Bears actually have right now?
Constantly.
I think every scenario that you can think about, do we get rid of this guy? There is no good answer, dude. Like, for who? For what? Well, you know what I mean? Like,
I think
everything is just so controversial.
To be positive for a minute, I think you do have a solid base for defense. Oh, I mean, that Tyreek Stevenson interception.
We're going to get into the defense right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're going to start with the negative, and the only negative that I can see is you don't fucking let Joe Flacco have 370-yard passes.
How about 200 in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, dude. And alone in the fourth.
He only had 80-something yards before that.
Dude, that's unreal. Dude, and my biggest quarrel with them right there is they are lights out 95% of the game. But then at the end of the fourth quarter, 3 minutes left, I know you're tired,
Coaching
dude.
scared.
Yeah. Well, not only that, dude, they're tired, but like in our situation, like I was even looking at time of possession. It was 30-30, dude.
Yeah.
Brown's defense was as fucking as tired as the Bears defense at the end. So, I mean,
no doubt.
I don't want to hear that, dude. We had even time of possession.
No, you're right.
So, I mean, dude, I don't care about all those other factors, the should have gone field goals, the drop passes, whatnot. Dude, you still got to do your fucking job.
I don't disagree.
And you cannot allow double-digit points to be scored at end of games, no matter what the scenario.
I don't disagree.
No matter what.
I'm not letting him off the hook for the last couple of minutes.
There were a lot of positives. I love where we're going with the defense. I love where we're at. But, dude, the number one thing is they got to finish the fucking game no matter what, dude.
I don't disagree. And
no matter what.
Coaching has got to help you finish it, too.
Yeah.
And not call stupid plays that let 3rd and 15s happen.
Sure. But, dude, those guys regardless of what's technically called, knows what they should be doing out there, man. They can read defenses. That's what we have our linebacking core for. I mean, they see where people are lining up. They see the movement. I mean, they got to be on top of that too, man. Audibles on the fields. I mean, that's where our linebacking core comes in. They got to be able to read the plays. But a bunch of positive from here on out. See, Montez Sweat, man. I think the number one thing that made me laugh the most is when they were talking about how pissed off he was about his Madden rating. He's only an 83 in Madden, which I had to look it up because it kind of blows my mind, like where other like Micah Parsons is like a 99 and crap like that. So that made me laugh that he actually cares about that so much, and that actually helped motivate him for the season to do so well. As he wants his Madden rating to be better. He holds the sacks. This is the first time this has ever happened in the NFL. He holds the leading sacks for two franchises in the same year.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
So he's going to finish the year for the Commanders and the Bears as both their sack leaders. He's just a beast, dude. I said it. Like, I'm getting his jersey. Dude. I don't get any like recent player jerseys.
You know, we've ripped on polls, but as of right now, that looks like an absolute fantastic get for a second round pick.
Yeah,
I mean, he's changed the whole face of the defense, and he's been an absolute monster. He's a game record.
Yeah. Dude, 100%. I'll get through this because I want to get to the Susie's coming on here for the Cardinals here. But, dude, the amount of sacks, we had 8 hits on the quarterback, 4 sacks. The Jackson, Stevenson, Edmonds picks were all amazing, dude.
Oh, the Stevenson one especially.
Where he was laid out horizontal.
One of the best interceptions I've ever seen.
But like I said before, dude, we got to be able to finish the game no matter what. And that 50-yard pass to Amari Cooper should never have happened. It should never have happened. Not with the caliber of that defense. That should not have happened whatsoever.
I don't disagree.
Justin Fields became the first quarterback since Brad Johnson in 2000 to end a game and end a half and end the game with both an interception. So we got that going for us.
I can't blame Fields for either one of those at all. I mean, that's not an agreed. I mean, 2 Hail Marys in the end zone. Those aren't interceptions. Those aren't interceptions. You know what I mean? They're picks, but they're not interceptions.
During the last topic, just to kind of wrap it up before we start talking about the Cardinals game here and getting Susie on, this is where I'm at, everyone. Agree, disagree, whatnot. Flew and Getsy have to go.
Yeah.
They have to go. I don't see a really good answer for their replacements out there happening. I see them going and us just replacing them with another first-time head coach and possibly an experienced offensive coordinator. But again, we're not going to get much more caliber than that for what's available. I mean, the offensive coordinator from the Lions is available right now. The offensive coordinator from the Reds, I can't say Redskins anymore. Commanders.
Texans.
I mean, so those guys are available. I mean, but are those guys going to come in and be the guys that we need them to be? Are they going to turn this all around and the Bears are going to play for the full potential that we need and want them to with these guys? And dude, to me, it says no. You're just replacing a learning curve problem and experience with another learning curve problem and experience, man. I'd really like to see the Bears replace a head coach with a reputable former head coach with a winning record. Like there was talks about Mike Tomlin, Steelers firing Mike Tomlin, which I don't think he's going to happen. That was just clickbait. But, dude, that's the type of scenario where I would love to see an experienced coach like that who has those big game scenarios, who has those years under his belt, who has those playoff experiences, things of that nature.
I'll offer you John Fox. I mean, he went to a Super Bowl, experienced coach. I mean,
he's the exception of the rule. I don't know what happened to that man when he came here because he was not
that
bad in Denver. Yeah, he was not that bad in Denver.
I'm fine. Look, all I want more than anything, the most important position in any sport, period, is quarterback. Mm-hmm. I want someone who knows what the fuck to do with a quarterback. I don't care about anything else. The defense is good enough. Hire some defensive coordinator. Keep running the 4-3. That's fine. Anyone can run Matt Eberflex's defense. That's Lovie Smith's defense. Mm-hmm. Anybody can run that. I want someone who knows what the hell they're doing at quarterback, who can, if we draft one, can develop one properly.
Sure.
Bring in an offensive coordinator or an assistant that's done it before. I want it all to center on that. That's all I care about. I don't give a shit about the tight end. I just want them to develop an actual quarterback or figure out what they're going to do at quarterback now. I want everyone to be on the same page for a change. I'm tired of this isn't my guy. This is my guy. Maybe this is my guy. It would be nice once, wouldn't it, as Bears fans, even if it's the wrong guy, just, okay, the GM hired the coach who picked the quarterback and we're all going to be on the same page and this is our guy, go.
Yeah.
Will it work? Who knows? I don't know. I don't know anything about these college quarterbacks more than anybody else. I don't know.
No.
But I don't see them giving Fields. This is just what I think. I'm not saying I like Fields. I like Fields. I like him as a person a lot. And I like the idea of Fields as the player, but he hasn't shown me enough to where I'm willing to invest another coaching regime with him. When you have the number 1 pick, and I get it, it's just a scratch lottery ticket. It could blow up in your face again. But I don't see enough progression with Fields on his own, let alone coaching. So to answer your question,
I'm not far off with you, man. But again, I don't see Drake May or Caleb Williams being the answer to the solution.
I don't know.
I don't think those guys, based upon all the tape and everything I've read and all their numbers and their ups and downs, dude, they have very similar issues currently right now that Fields displays with holding on to the ball too long and turnovers, things of that nature. So, I mean, yeah, okay, we're going to get rid of Fields, who now has 30-some games under his belt, and we're going to bring these guys in, and we're just restarting the cycle. And like, how many years are we going to give that to see if that works out or not? Or is the coach going to be the right coach for Drake May? Is the coach going to be the right coach for Caleb?
It's all questions.
Yeah.
My last quick counter argument is you would restart your quarterback clock on the contract. And do you really want a third system now with Fields to learn when he hasn't really done any of the other two well? I'm not blaming him entirely. It's not all his fault. But now we're going to bring another guy in to teach him another system. I know it's worked in the past for the quarterbacks.
But dude, like, that's not his fault, though. You know what I mean? Like,
I get that, but just organizations really just they're just not going to do that. I mean, like, a lot of organizations just don't want to do another third regime with another offensive coordinator.
I said this last week, dude. The house is broken. The house is dysfunctional. The man can walk in your door and you're so dysfunctional. Who the fuck are you to even say what the man is? You know what I mean? Like, you got to have your house in order before you start passing judgment on who's good enough and who's not. You know what I mean?
Yes,
and the Bears need to have a more settled structure, which they don't have right now, to be able to determine that this is the guy and this isn't.
And the coach you want, what evidence have we ever seen they've hired that guy?
Yeah. Never.
So it is what it is.
All right, so
Bears
we got the Cardinals coming up for Christmas Eve this weekend. It's Christmas time, holly jolly motherfuckers. For that, we have the 2022 Fan of the Year, Miss Susie Haluzan. I'm so excited to have her on the show. Everyone, welcome Susan to the show.
Hi.
Hi, Susie. How are you?
I'm good. Merry
Thanks
Christmas.
for joining us, and Merry Christmas and
Merry
listen to our
Christmas.
Bears rant. I saw you back there.
I feel your pain. We've been there.
I know. It's such an aggravating time for both our teams, like we were talking about backstage.
Yeah.
But let's get into it tonight. 2022 Fan of the Year, which is super awesome. Gotten to meet some Fan of the Years the last couple of years, and you guys just really get drawn out the red carpet for the entire situation, and you deserve it too.
Thank you.
But let's go back to the beginning of the fandom. I like to go back where it all starts. So I read that originally you're not from the Arizona area. You're actually not from the country exactly, correct?
Not. That's correct. So
why don't we get into that and then how you became a football fan, especially an Arizona Cardinals fan?
Yeah. So I've always been a football fan. I was a cheerleader in high school, dated the quarterback, that kind of whole scenario, but never in the NFL. So I grew up in a town in Saskatchewan in Canada. But after working in Canada, ended up moving with my then husband to the US back in 97, went to school, ended up moving to Phoenix, Arizona for work. And that was really the first opportunity that I had to follow an NFL team. And I just immediately, this was 2006, 2007, Cardinals, Ken Wisenhunt was coaching, and we were just going on our Super Bowl run, and I got sucked in, and that was it. I started going to games, ended up buying season tickets, and that was the beginning of the obsession, as you can see here behind me.
Remember that one time the Bears played the Cardinals on Monday Night Football? That was
Oh.
awesome. I'm sorry, I just had to throw that.
Yeah, for sure.
That was the great Matt Leinart and Denny Green, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that was the Denny Green game. I
Well,
really thought
here
they
we
were.
talk about quarterbacks. I mean,
Oh no, we have nothing to say about quarterbacks.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
No, go ahead.
So you started going to games. You got season tickets. Are you much into the tailgating scene? We're big tailgaters over here.
I am now, but I don't do the tailgating. I go to our good friends Jay and Dustin, Nate and Jeremiah, who run we call KNP. It was Kid and Play Tailgate in Phoenix, not California.
Yeah.
I go and join them, donate to them. They raise a lot of money for charities. They are well known. They're in the Tailgating Hall of Fame. They are lovely.
Cool.
They welcome teams from different teams that come in. They're visiting to come and join us. I go and do the tailgating, but for me, it's more social hour. I am big into socializing with everybody. And I think that's kind of how I ended up in this position, is because I talk to everybody and do a lot of social media. And I think that was part of the reason that they selected me as fan of the year last year.
Yeah, very cool. So let's get into that then a little bit. So you're going to the games, you're a regular face, season ticket holder. Were you nominated? Did you see the contest yourself? Or you're like, hey, I'm going to throw my name out there and see what happens. How did that all begin?
Yeah, I didn't. I was nominated. I found out by some people I think in the organization. So it was a complete surprise to me. I actually had nominated one of our guys at the tailgate to win. And in my head, I actually thought it was either going to be him or one of my other friends. And so this was the year that we were on Hard Knocks. And so we had a Hard Knocks viewing party, and they invited everybody to a private theater. And they pulled me up on stage and told me that I was the winner. And I was completely 100% shocked. And the Cardinals have been very good to me over the years. So I was like, it's never going to be me, because they already sent me to a Super Bowl back in 2019. But yeah, I was gracious to accept it, very humble. And it was super important to represent, because we hosted the Super Bowl last year. So I got to experience it in my own town, in my own stadium. And it was hands down, best experience I can ever have as a fan.
Yeah, because that was actually my next question. Is, considering you're there and you're season ticket holder, have you been to a Super Bowl? So what was that like?
It was amazing. I mean, it's that our city transformed, our stadium transformed. The energy of that game was amazing. Rihanna was amazing. Like, it's just like, I can't wait to go. But I left that game going, okay, this is a wonderful experience, but I want our guys to be here. I want our guys to experience that. And I know we have been to the Super Bowl, but of course we all want to walk away with the ring. So, we're working on that. We're working our way back.
Hey, he was 1, I was 2 when we walked away with the ring. So we haven't seen it either.
Yeah.
We want to see it too.
We got to at least see one, I guess.
We got a little tease in 2007, but that was about it for us.
Yeah, we got close, but that was it.
So why don't you talk about some of your favorite games you've been to, some of your favorite players over the years, maybe some people you've met or are really cool, and then let's get into your charities a little bit after that.
Sure, would love to. So yeah, I mean, my favorite player, we're right there, obviously, Larry Fitzgerald, who is
he's a safe choice.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Choice, but also that was the years of my fandom were watching him and being a fan and really wanting him to get his Super Bowl ring. So he has been, truly instrumental in, one of the reasons that I got to become a fan. I did get to meet him, one of our club hosted events. And so this is a charity auction signed autograph that I purchased, but he did sign another jersey for me. So
very cool.
Right on.
Total fangirl. And I just looked at him and was like, I love you. What I'm sure he's had a million people say, and I didn't know what to say. When you meet your favorite player of all time, that was amazing. But then I think it was 2 years ago, I got invited to do an NFL commercial, and they didn't tell us any players were going to be there. But out walks DeAndre Hopkins with his mom.
Oh, nice.
So got to be right next to him and tell him how much I love him. You see the theme, right? It's just
of course. You love the receivers, huh?
Who doesn't?
You're a receivers girl. That's okay.
Who doesn't?
You guys have had some good ones over the years too, so
yeah,
I don't blame
some
them.
really big time players. So so that was like truly amazing. But yeah, it's just I've had the chance to meet quite a few, and they've all been very gracious with their time and doing autographs for the fans and stuff like that. So it's just been a highlight. I look back at some of the experiences that I've had, and I shake myself because I'm like, I'm one of 70, 80,000 people, and getting to go on the field, getting to go, out there for player introductions and getting to meet some of these players is just a dream. It's really fun.
Oh, no doubt. And I definitely agree with Larry Fitzgerald because he's one of my favorite receivers of all time too. And I know you were going to talk about your charities you want to talk about too.
Oh yeah. So yeah, for me, I talk about charities, fan of the year, I have met the most incredible people. And as you guys know, and you follow along with some of the fan of the years, they raise hundreds of thousands of dollars. There are people that have their own, 501c charities and that are doing amazing things. For me, the work that I do in the community has always just been personal. And I think it's important to talk about that because sometimes a lot of people think that you have to be this big fundraiser, you have to be super involved. But for me, I go, St. Vincent de Paul is one of my favorite charities. I go and I work in their food kitchen, and I make it a habit to go in there, and I go in for a couple of hours on a morning, and we just like chop vegetables and open cans and do some food prep for some of our populations that are underserved in our community. And that's what works for me. And so when I talk to people, I think the interesting thing being fan of the year is showing my experience about volunteering. I just pick something that means something to me, and you can do the same thing in your community. It doesn't have to be where you got to go out and raise $40, $50, $100,000, right? Sure. Donate some clothes to Goodwill. That's still participating in your community, or donate some books, or, get involved with a local school or local charity. I try and share those links out, and hopefully people have seen that I've done my experience and they can just follow along, pick one that works well for them.
So what was your coolest experience when you were at the Super Bowl? What was like your shock, awe moment? Like if you look back, the number one image that jumps out first, like, wow.
When did you meet Brad Pitt?
I didn't meet any celebrities. I'm going to actually switch gears on you. The Super Bowl was a wonderful experience, and anybody that gets to go, highly recommend it. I had the most fun last year at draft. I thought you're in a tent with 700, 800 of the craziest super fans out there in the inner circle. And it was a nonstop party. We drafted Paris Johnson Jr., who's been amazing for us on the offensive line. And I didn't know that the draft could be so much fun. So
I was there last year in Kansas City, right?
Yes.
Were you at the ESF party last year?
I did not make that. I got in Thursday night, and then we were inner circle in the tent. And so it was kind of shuttling us all around, but I'm planning to go to Detroit this year. Obviously we both have high draft picks, and this year's draft is super influential, and I don't want to miss it. Super Bowl was fun, but I had more fun at draft. That's just my personal experience.
So next year it's in Detroit, the year after that it's in Green Bay. So for me, it's like my two neighbor states for the next 2 years. So I'm super excited, dude. It's such a blast, man. Going to the draft is such a good time. You meet people equally as crazy as you are.
Exactly. I think that's what I liked about it.
It's like, it's like our what's it called? Our convention. It's like the convention of the super fans.
It's like Comic-Con of
it's Comic-Con for super fans.
Exactly.
We're not alone, people. We're not alone.
Well, good luck with Green Bay because it's the land of no hotels.
Yeah, that is. It's hard to get in there, right?
There are no hotels in Green Bay.
I'm curious about how they're going to do that, man.
Like the closest one is like 30 minutes away. So God bless all of you. So to get into the now a little bit with the Cardinals, I know there's been a lot of talk about whether Kyler Murray is going to be the guy or whether they're going to go for a quarterback or go for that heck of a wide receiver out of Ohio State. Where do you think the Cardinals? Where do you think they are now, and where do you think they're going?
Yeah. I'm fairly confident that they are sticking with Kyler. I mean, everybody from leadership on down has been, speaking highly of him, and they're seeing that the work that he's put in, he really does seem to be connecting in this new system. And so I believe they've invested heavily, obviously, with his contract. And I think he just needs some weapons. I think, we're a little short no pun intended, on receivers. And so Marvin Harrison Jr. is really what everybody's eyeing on.
Wow.
We have a number right now. We're sitting at the number 3 pick, and I think there'll be a riot if we don't pick him somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
But we also have a lot of cap space, and so I think there's a lot of things that we'll be able to do during free agency as well. And I think the one thing that I took away from last year's draft, of course, we got a new GM. I heard you guys talking about new coach, new GM. I mean, that was our experience last year. And Monty Ossenfort has really done we had some great picks that are really performing, like Paris Johnson, for example, but some really great picks. So we're really excited to see what he's going to do with all this draft capital that we have this year, and then also during free agency. So to be determined. I expected this to be a growing year. And it doesn't feel like 3-11 for some reason. Because
you guys have been in a lot of games. Like I've watched a few Cardinals games. It's not like you're just getting your doors blown off every week. Like honestly, I'm surprised you have 3 wins. Like, I don't mean that disrespectfully, but the way they talked about going in the year, you couldn't find a coach, and you hired this guy, and everyone's like, well, "Who's this guy?" I mean, the team has played pretty good the games I've watched.
Yeah, for sure. When Kyler Murray came back, there was a major boost of momentum and stepping it up, and you guys won your first game after that point, and then have been in every game since. So I mean. I think Kyler Murray definitely is the man for the Cardinals, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
please pick another quarterback so we don't take him.
I'd be happy with that. We have enough other holes we need to fill with those draft picks, so we don't need to be thinking about a quarterback again.
Exactly, because the top 2 above you are going to take a quarterback. So, do you want the 3rd best quarterback or the absolute best fucking athlete in the draft?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Dude, not just for the Bears, but I'll probably say this, and Susie, you chime in, like, is there anything worse than developing a new quarterback, developing a rookie quarterback? Like, that's like the worst time frame for.
Well, it's because we've never had one here. They've at least had a quarterback there.
They had it work out for them, but I mean, just that time period of those mishaps and the growing stages, like for me, that's like the worst part of football. I almost feel like it's almost a wasted season with a brand new quarterback because everyone's just getting established with one another.
Absolutely. And that's where that chemistry between the coach and the quarterback really has to happen. I mean, we had the Josh Rosen experiment for a year, right? And you need the pieces, you need the coaching. And I think this is where Kyler's really vibing with our coaches right now. It seems like anyways. And people forget that, like, he's just learning this new system. He's only been 3-4 games in. So I think given next year, I think with a full runway and training camp and a few extra targets, I think that's the key. But yeah, coach and quarterback really have to be a combo package. So curious to see what you guys do next year in the draft.
Flip a coin, sweetie. Flip a coin.
I think it's going to be quarterback, but that's me. I'm glad you brought up Josh Rosen, though, because I always remember that the Cardinals organization, that was a ballsy move to draft him and then immediately trade him to draft Kyler Murray.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you got to give him credit for that. Most organizations would not take that risk to draft, a quarterback in the first round and immediately draft another one the next year when they knew this dude ain't the dude.
Yeah. I mean, you really must have had a solid deal worked out somehow that you weren't going to get screwed on to do that. I mean, there was a lot of trust.
Well, it's a rookie deal, but what I'm saying is just as an organization to make that move, that's great. I wish more organizations operated that way. The Bears.
Sure.
Yeah, it was a huge risk. And I think it was the same, like Steve Wilkes was our coach, and look what he's done with the Niners. Like,
absolutely.
Defensive coordinator. So truly talented person, but he didn't have the right components to make it a successful year with us with Josh Rosen. So it has to be, it's a lot of pieces of the puzzle that have to work out.
You're right. It's all got to be on the same page. Everything, like I said, it's got to be all copacetic from general manager to coach to quarterback. It's all got to be on the same page. It's only going to ever work.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise, like, stuff like this happens. And
that was hard.
Yeah, on the same page. I mean, things like that just happen sometimes. I'm still not over it, Susie. I'm still recovering from it.
My husband is a Bears fan, so I heard all about it. So,
You marry good men, at least. That's for sure. So, Susie, we got the game coming up on Christmas Eve. Are you traveling to this game? Are you coming out for the holidays? Or
I am not. I am going to be traveling to Hawaii to go spend some time with my family.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at that humble brag.
Whoa, okay.
I came to the game in Chicago 2 years ago, and it was 30 degrees and sleeting out, and Kyler managed in wet weather to pull a game win out for us. And so I don't have any concerns about us playing in Chicago with the weather. I think our guys will be fine. I think Kyler's used to some
Or
adversity.
you kind of looking at like the battle of the draft pick spot.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I mean, let's just call it what it is, right? I mean, battle of the draft pick spot.
Yeah. I mean, somebody's got to win.
Not necessarily. It could be a tie.
You can see a 3-3 tie or something like that.
That's very true. Let's try for that and see how that helps us out.
Yeah, right. Let's complicate things even more now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty much going into this game again, it's bear weather. It's outside. You know it's going to be cold. It's going to be the holiday season. I'm not sure how packed the stadium's going to be as far as it would be on Christmas.
It depends how well Arizona travels.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think a lot of Bears fans are frustrated at this point. I see a lot of tickets for sale. So not sure how packed the house is going to be. But what's your predictions for the game? I mean, Kyler Murray's back now. He's healthy, getting back in the groove. Couple games. Game doesn't really mean anything for either team. Where do you see the game going? And give us some details. Why?
Yeah, I think the one thing that we've seen from our guys is that they're kind of playing for the future. So we saw this with the San Francisco game too, even though we were behind, they played the full 60 minutes. They didn't quit. And so I think there's some guys here that are really playing for a contract for 2024. So I think we'll still see a very competitive game. And I think, we'll see maybe a little bit more utilization of our wide receivers. I know our tight end, Trey McBride had an amazing game against the Niners. He's going to be solid during the game. But I know that we need to kind of work on our wide receivers a little bit more. So I think maybe we'll see a little bit more of that action going on. Depends on the weather. If weather's copacetic, maybe not as much in the run game, but James Conner's solid guy. So we'll see some, action from him there. I'm not going to predict us losing because I have to be the eternal optimist. But I think
you're a fan of the year. You can't predict it. Get that badge back. Rip that off the jersey now.
And just based on what I saw last week, like we were in it with the Niners all the way up until halftime. You
sure were.
Not the great, but yeah. So I'm going to say 24-21. I'm going to go Cardinals, and
there we go.
See what happens.
Maxwell, what say you, sir? What say you?
I think I saw there's going to be 30-40% chance of rain Sunday, and not bad temps. I think this last loss for the Bears was so devastating and deflating. I read about everyone in the locker room was just completely beside themselves after this game. I think it's going to carry over. I think they're done. I'm going Cardinals 17, Bears 13.
Ooh. At home, our defense is so good. I'm going to go 24-17 Bears. I think our offense is going to be on a vengeance. I think our defense is still top notch, especially if it's raining outside. Lots of fumble happening, a lot of peanut punches, interceptions. Murray, yes, we played well in the rain 2 years ago, but still bad weather. Still not an environment you're playing in. So I think we're going to end on a good note for the season. Hopefully, Cardinals win. We'll beat the other birds, the Falcons, and then hopefully knock the Packers out of the playoffs just to end the season for some. That'll be our Super Bowl.
I mean, we play the Seahawks, and that's our goal at the end. Our last game is to knock them out of the playoffs.
Absolutely. You got to play for. Hey, look at the Lions last year. Hey, man, they came out and stormed Green Bay and beat them with nothing to play for. So,
and Aaron Rodgers' last pass as a Packer was an interception to the Lions.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Do you guys still have like a 0.3% chance of making it?
No, hon, we're done.
We do. Like get the
not officially eliminated because I've checked that.
Oh
list.
yeah, okay. So like if you squinted at it and you turn it upside down and read it in Japanese, yeah, we got a shot at making the playoffs. But
if the comets align and satellites fall down,
I guess anything's possible with this NFL. But I don't know. I'm firmly against an 8-9 team making the playoffs. So
yeah.
Isn't that like when the Giants won the Super Bowl that one year?
I think they were 9-7 that year, yeah.
All right, Susie. Well, it's been a blast having you on the show. Again, I hope we both get to see a good, fun game on Christmas. Hanging out with our families or being in Hawaii for some of us. But you make sure you enjoy your trip, sweetie. And like I said, I hope we have a fun game. And love having other super fans on the show. We're always fans of fans here. So appreciate you coming on. Hopefully we have you on again down the road.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And you guys have a wonderful Christmas.
You too.
Thank
have
you.
a great Christmas,
enjoy your
Susie.
trip.
Have fun in Hawaii.
All right.
We'll talk soon. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right. So we only got 2 more episodes left this year, man. This is sad.
This game 15 coming up.
You guys gonna miss us or what? I mean, a lot of people have been asking. I'm gonna take a break for a while. I mean, I'm not gonna come on here and just spew garbage and what ifs and
you got to get away from this thing for a while.
clickbait. I mean,
Turn off the TV for a while.
yeah, enjoy your lives, enjoy your family, get away from the conspiracy of every Bears thing's about to happen, because as soon as the season's over with, you're gonna have a million different what ifs, clickbaits.
Yep.
Russell Wilson's coming to the Bears. I mean, it's going to be nonstop for about 2 or 3 months up into the draft. So I don't want to report or talk about any of that shit. I like talking about real stuff that's actually happening in reality. And if it does, then we'll talk about it. But up until then, we'll probably be on like a good 3-month break leading up into the draft until we have some more serious concrete stuff happening. So a couple more episodes, hang in there, have fun with us, and then we're going to take a little break, but we will be back for season 2, for that's for damn sure. Right, Maxwell?
That's right.
Goddamn right.
Only if they hire Harbaugh.
Only if they make great moves. All right, so still openings for Walter Payton Man of the Year, Mr. Justin Jones. Go out and vote for him, along with Miss Shamika Leach. NFL.com for the honors, Fan of the Year, and also Walter Payton. Next week, we have Mr. Clapback himself. We were talking about the draft last year. This guy was absolutely hilarious at the draft. The Falconator from the Falcons. We'll get into that situation during next week's show. That'll actually be on Thursday. We're taking a break for Christmas. Everyone go enjoy your time with your family. We'll come back next Thursday night after the holidays at 7 p.m. and we'll do that post-game show from the Cardinals and then get that preview ready for the Falcons with the Falconator. One more time for everyone. There we go. All right, guys. I appreciate everyone hanging in there. It's been a tough season. You guys are troopers. We appreciate you. And as always, bear down.
Thank you. And go Bears!